Hello, everyone. I've just been speaking to Peter Granger, coach, researcher, author, and director of Heart Bond. Peter is one of the speakers at the Big Heart 2023 online event, which is taking place on Sunday, November the 5th. At this event, we will have a number of expert speakers on the heart. The idea is that you can learn on this day how heart connection is able to transform our inner world and also our outer world. I hope you join us on the day to find out more. You can check out more at this website. And I also hope that you enjoy this short, edited version of our conversation.
I'm one of these people that has to understand how things work. And why was I feeling these strange feelings? Particularly when I was connecting, eye gazing in some of the exercises we used to do in the training. Why was I having these strange feelings? So I went back to the science. And it was those physiological changes that intrigued me. Things like electricity in the body, and feelings of warmth, a glow, tingling feelings, all sorts of feelings that I really didn't understand at the time. But I set out to research those and eventually started measuring the heart. So using simple, relatively cheap monitors that either clip on the ear or measure the ECG of the heart, measuring heart rate as it changes with time. So that's called heart rate variability. That's a technical term. Essentially, the up and down of heart rate that occurs naturally when we, for instance, exercise. That happens naturally, but also when we breathe in and out. So those patterns can be measured for one person, but they can also be measured for two people. And that's really the main part of the research has been to measure those heart rate variability patterns, those rhythms for two people simultaneously. And when we do that, what we notice is that they start synchronizing, particularly when we're in a bonded relationship, a loving, appreciative relationship. So this is an example just to show what happens when we're very close to somebody. So this was actually my wife and I sitting on a sofa about a meter apart, and we're feeling love for each other. So watch what happens when I overlay the two. We get this very obvious synchronization. It's been the last 10 years we've been looking into this, trying to understand what causes this and what are the implications of this. What we did on one occasion was to move a long distance apart during the experiments.
This led to an astonishing discovery. Despite being separated by hundreds of miles, our hearts were still synchronizing as we felt love for each other, without any phone or internet connection.
I've spent hours and hours, probably thousands of hours, thinking about it and wondering what to do with this discovery. I mean, it clearly showing that we are communicating in some way. We're transferring information over these vast distances. In fact, we've been out to thousands of kilometers apart and seen the same synchronizations. And of course, this challenges everything we're taught in science and psychology and now consciousness studies, which are very, very popular. We're told that we're separate, but essentially we are our brains, and that we are separate individuals, and we can only communicate with the conventional senses. But then I started to think about how could we investigate the mechanism behind it? Because we have to be able to show what's going on at some point. And that's where I thought, imagine being able to show this happening in real time. So that's where I made a fairly crazy decision to learn to code, to create an app that would do this in real time. But we did achieve that in the end. And that's what we now have. And what that shows is actually even more incredible. And that is that not only do we synchronize if two people are feeling love, appreciation, gratitude for each other, but what we've shown is that one person can affect another's heart rate patterns simply by feeling love for them. So what that shows is a power of healing, that everything we think and feel is in some way communicated, but we forget sometimes our impact on others. But I'd rather think of it positively, that we can learn about the power of the heart. Yes. You know, and your own research is showing what a tremendous power it has in all sorts of ways to influence us personally, but also the world around us and the people around us. At some level, this is showing we are all connected, and that's my understanding of the spiritual. There's a unity at the core of reality. And I believe that we are actually when we're experiencing love, we are communicating. We're not transmitting and receiving. That's what we'd call a classical interpretation. We were never separate. We've never been separate. So when we experience love, we experience that connection naturally. And so our hearts respond, and they just naturally go into synchronization. We also need to learn to trust our heart, because trust in that power. And that takes time, and we have to get into new habits of opening our heart, even in difficult situations. Trusting that heart, trusting the power of it, it can change the world.